Do you want to know the fastest way to get the gold/gilded camo on your LMGs in Modern Warfare 3? Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. I'm going to show you the fastest way to complete each camo challenge so you can get your hands on the completionist camo in a matter of hours. I'm going to skip over the first challenge, however, as it's simply just get 50 kills, which I don't need to tell you how to do, just play the game. But let's jump into that second challenge, which is pretty terrible and probably the reason you've clicked on the video. That is, get 10 penetration kills. Before we jump into the best method to complete this challenge, we need to focus on the attachments for the gun, as it will just make things a lot easier for yourself. By sticking on a barrel that will increase your damage range, and then sticking on an ammunition type that will improve bullet penetration, will just make it a lot easier to shoot people through walls. And as 2 of the LMGs don't have a 100 round magazine as default, for those you will want to use that as an attachment, as penetration kills can just take a really long time, so just having those extra bullets is definitely useful. Also, if you have unlocked the snapshot grenade through the daily challenges, this is insanely useful, as it will just light up enemy players through walls. Now moving on to actually completing the challenge. There are 2 main methods that I have found to work most effectively. The first is playing on war mode, as I've found skill-based matchmaking is just a bit more inconsistent here and can often set you up against less skilled players that move slowly and camp in windows, which is really useful for this challenge. Now, part of this method is to stay on the tank section of the game for as long as possible, as a lot of the cover people hide behind is really penetrable. The best side to be on is the defensive side, but you can also find some success on the attacking side too. Just wait for people to go up into these windows and start shooting the actual cover itself, and if they run off, then try to track them. You will continue to get hit markers as you shoot them. Now the second method is to play an objective based multiplayer mode, like domination or hardpoint, the latter probably being the better of the two, as people often just watch over certain objectives and sit behind certain bits of cover. But the maps that you play on are the really key point for this, as some are A tier and have loads of great bullet pen spots that you can just absolutely tear through, whereas some are really terrible and you absolutely just want to avoid like the plague. The 2 key maps that you want to play on are Favela and Rundown, but Estate and Skid Row are also doable, and to be honest, I just wouldn't really be wasting your time on the other maps. Your time is going to be much better spent re-queuing into different lobbies. I'm going to show you through the key areas on Favela and Rundown, but in general on the other maps, look for thin cover enemies hide behind. For Favela, you'll want to focus on the following areas. Here, over here, this spot right here, in this building, here, when people are sat behind that bit of cover, over here, and there. Now, of course, there are other spots throughout the map, but these are the best ones that you want to camp a little bit. Whereas on Rundown, these are the key areas. Right here, there, over here, over at this spot here, over there, here, and shooting into this building, which I'm shooting from now. Now, these challenges are really dependent on playing against campers, as they tend to grab their buildings and just stay put for 10 minutes. So for once, you can be thankful that you've run into campers, but this challenge will require you to not run and gun down your enemies, but to pay attention to kill cams so you know where to shoot your enemies from. Utilize UAVs and snapshot grenades effectively to complete this challenge as fast as possible. At the peak of things, I actually managed to get this done in about 2 to 3 games of multiplayer, or about 2 games of war mode. Now moving on to the next challenge. I'm going to skip over the third one, as it's just simply get 15 kills with 5 attachments, which just put 5 attachments on your gun and go play. And we can move on to the fourth challenge, which is to get double kills. This can be challenging on the heavier LMGs, as you can't really run and gun effectively, as the sprint to fire and ADS speed on those things are really slow. So my advice here is to jump back on war mode. As players actually play the objective, they often funnel into certain zones, meaning double kills come pretty quick and pretty often without trying. Just try to cover off those high traffic zones that you know enemies are going to go into and put yourself into the mix, but really you just need to keep your gun ADS a lot, as it's just going to take too long to aim down sight in those moments of need. Now onto the gold/gilded challenge. It's actually easier than the last one, and that is to get 2 kills without releasing the trigger 10 times. Now this is a lot easier, as you actually get more time between kills. All you have to do is carry on shooting between kills, and from what I found, I can usually complete this in 1 to 2 games of war mode, as once you've killed a player, just carry on shooting, change to hip fire if you need to walk and move around corners, but guns being fired will naturally attract other players, so people come running around corners to you. So naturally, as long as you're expecting that, you can really quickly succeed on this challenge. That being said, for this challenge, you will want to make sure that you have a 100 round magazine attached to the gun as a minimum, and also a munitions box to stock up on that ammo, because you're going to need a lot of it. And follow the tips from the double kills and just continue to play in war mode. Once you've done all of that, you will have have your gold camo. But if you want to know the best audio settings to help you hear your enemies before they hear you, then click on the video on screen now.